Merry Christmas. This is Volleyball Explained podcast, and this evening we are going to talk live with your help about the Italian league and the first half season of the league, the regular season. And this evening I am joined by Victor and Nicola. Thank you guys for being here. How are you? How are the holidays going?
Pretty relaxing with my family. Right now, the only volleyball I'm talking is here and watching some Italian league games. So yeah, typical Bulgarian Christmas with a lot of food and warm moments. So yeah, everything is going quite well.
Food is on the top of the table also here in Italy. About 3 days of eating, probably I've got enough for the next week. And a great holiday with Trento surprisingly on the top of the table. So for me, everything is rolling fine.
Of course, we had the privilege to watch two very, very good matches yesterday. I would say also surprising matches, but I would actually suggest that we can put them in first place in our conversation, of course. But thereafter we will go also through the ranking and also to the Cup of Italy, because yesterday's results actually signed. We can say it in this way. The pairs for the quarterfinals in the Cup of Italy, which will start just after New Year's Eve. Okay, I would suggest to start with Perugia Milano. Actually, both matches we are going to go through were comebacks from 2-0 to 2-3. So this is the most interesting part of yesterday's round. But before that, I would just incite people who are watching to write in the comments their opinions, of course, or their questions as they like. And as we do it also in other podcasts live in this format about the Italian league, you can do it in Bulgarian and in Italian, in English, and I would say also in German. This time. And let's start then with what happened in the match between Perugia and Milano, because Perugia and Milano, Perugia are the favorites, as every year they are, but this time Milano prevailed after a comeback, and Victor, I would say, can start about this match.
This match was, everybody is speaking about a big surprise, but I'm not entirely sure that it was an enormous surprise for me, because Milano have been working their way through some difficult teams in Italy. They have a very strong and balanced team. I think the only problem was that Ishikawa got injured, and he actually played. I think he started in the second set. But the days are over where you just have 6 brilliant players and you just wait for them to play good. They have a good bench. They have really amazing players with Kaziski, with all of the outside hitters are brilliant. They had a really rough start. Like they had Poro was not playing, I think, the first 3 or 4 games. So starting with your second setter it's just not ideal. It doesn't matter how good he is, he's just not Poro. So getting Fede Regers there is also a brilliant move for them. So I think it's not a big surprise that they're competitive. That the game was really good, really intense. But Perugia are not the same like last year. Like they're not so dominant in comparison to last year. So I think they have a good balance with Kaziski, a high ball hitter, and Ishikawa, a guy that is just all around maybe the best player in the world in all around skills. And really good attacking middle in the face of the attacking middle who made 5 blocks yesterday. There, like really good statistic as I'm seeing right now. Big surprise is also that their reception percentage is really low, but I'm guessing that their high ball hit was just effective. So yeah, I'm thinking that Perugia is still struggling a lot with the opposite position. Uh, Herrera is just a loose cannon. Like every time he's like, now I'm seeing 5 blocks and 14 points, but then having 15 direct errors, like 8 errors in serve. So this kind of it loses your balance. So I was actually thinking then that Bentara is going to start a lot earlier and going to stay in this position, but yeah, I guess not. And Sole is just not getting younger. I think it's just not the Leon is just missing. You can just see that they need just like some fresh fresh air in some situations, and Leon is just going to help a lot. Even if he goes in the opposite position, if it it will help the team. I think he's ready to do that. But yeah, I see also Gianelli struggling to connect sometimes with some of his hitters. It's just really interesting to watch them play nonetheless. But yeah, that would be my take on that game.
Nicola, Victor said that Soleil is not getting will be not getting younger, but there is a person who seems to be not getting older, and that's Matej Kaziski.
Yeah, that was amazing. I mean, honestly, if you watch the match yesterday, you may say that Perugia won the first 2 sets pretty seamlessly, and then suddenly at the beginning of the third, Kaczynski went on the serving line with the score that was a 1 point for Perugia and 2 for Milano, and left it when the score said 13-2 for Milano. They did something that I really I haven't seen so much. I've seen a couple of times in Trento, especially in the golden age of Trentino Volley 15 years ago. But the fact that he's capable to do it now with his team under pressure and still providing points and serving and attacks for his team, we saw a kind of nonchalance. If you see him serving, it was like hitting some practice serving, and it basically destroyed the Perugia reception. The biggest problem for Perugia, as Victor said, is Leon is not available, so they basically had to play with the same 2 outside hitter for the entire season so far, because Team Ed is not that reliable and the Lorenzetti is not using him too much. But we also know that Lorenzetti doesn't like to make too many adjustment and substitution during the game. But what Matej did yesterday was incredible, and I think that with his energy, basically woke up the entire team. And also the fourth set was more balanced than it could seem, because Perugia was ahead 4 points, if not wrong, and then another good serving series, and then attacking. If you have a weapon that's so reliable, also the other attacking players try to mock you and give the piece of game to try to take the game to the 5th set. And then in the 5th set, it was like I think that everything could have happened, but for this time, I think that Milano was more free under the mental aspect than Perugia. They deservedly won the game 3-2. The 7th place for Milano, the 6th place actually, because they go through Modena. As Victor said, is something that is not reflecting the actual value of the team, because with so many injuries at the beginning, they just start enrolling, and I'm pretty cool with the fact that Milano is on the other side of the bracket in the Coppa Italia. So eventually Trento will meet them in the final because they look pretty scary at the moment.
As long as I remember, actually, I predicted that Milano will be champions in the end.
Yeah, but
that looked very
bold,
very funny, and
Very bold move.
I don't know, very very bold, and yeah, but and it looked even more absurd when it came to the start of the season for Milano, because they lost some pretty shitty, let's say it in this way, games when it comes to their form. Because, for example, they lost against Monza. No, they lost against
Cisterna 3-0.
Cisterna.
Yes.
Yeah,
Ridiculous game.
yeah. They lost against Cisterna. Let's just check, because I'm not
Modena,
exactly.
Piacenza, and Trento.
Yeah, the Cisterna, Milano 3-0. Yeah, it was really strange. But now they are winning. They are playing better and better. So they won against Perugia yesterday. They won also against Civitanova, Padova. Okay, not that many matches, but the way they are playing indicates more than just the results, I would say. And secondly,
you can see. So sorry that you can see the first 3 games that they play without Porto. Those are the 3 games that they lost miserably. So, and not okay against Modena 3-2, but still, like, it's in the beginning of the season, anything can happen. But I think now it's going to be very interesting to watch Milano. Maybe the next, let's say, 3-4 weeks will be really, really intense for this team. I think they will be very fun to watch if everybody is fit.
And secondly, I predicted that Ferre Regers will be a player to watch. And I can remember that I think Ronnie was very skeptical about it. And now it seems that I'm more right than wrong about it. because during the Olympic qualifier, where Belgium was on the brink of qualifying for the Olympics in Paris, Regers was actually the star. So now it seems that Regers is the regular starter for Milano, and not Petr Dirlitz. So in this regard, I would say that yes, it's a long shot for a title, but it's more likely than it was just 2 months ago. Okay, let's go to the other match, because it was also a great match, and that was the win of Verona against Civitanova. Yeah, some people would say this is a match between 2 teams that will not fight for more than a 4th, 5th place, let's say it in this way, but who knows. And let's probably Nicola can start this time.
Yeah, it was quite a strange match to me, because as for Perugia Milano, it seems that Lube had the upper end pretty easily. I mean, except for maybe the end of the first set, where Verona cut the deficit to 1 point, they basically led the entire first 2 sets without too many problems. But then, as has actually happened before this season for Verona, they find a way to turn things around. They weren't able to do it for an entire game as yesterday, but they did it before for maybe a set or a set and a half, which pissed off Stoichev pretty much, because it was like, why can't we play like that for the entire game, and we're keeping losing point. But at the end, the fact that Keita is slowly getting into the team after he was missing for basically the entire first 9 games, is giving Verona more option on their play. If as yesterday, Amin is not playing so good, they can sub him off and try something new. But they look pretty strong in the middle because Cortesia did a very good job, as you can see on the blocking side, and also Jawaranok, which is a player that I'm happy went back to his usual standard we saw so many times in Monza after let's call not so good season with Trento last year, but yesterday wasn't so effective in attack, but kept on playing, and solved so many situations that then made the difference at the end of the game. As for Lube, I cannot explain what is happening, because in some games they seems to be the usual Lube we used to see in the past season, the one that could really manage a game without many problems, as happened especially also in the Champions League. But then they have that kind of blackout that are not something that you cannot allow in the Italian Super League, especially in the reception. They were pretty low. I mean, out of the 5 set yesterday, just once they went over 20% with the perfect reception. And for as much as the Checo has the best hands in volleyball, in my opinion, you cannot expect him to do miracles. And especially Nicola is still lacking in this kind of fundamental. Anzani is not playing his best season so far, but he's also slowly recovering from an injuries. So if both Vaisev and Lagumzi are not at the top of the game, it's very difficult for this Civitanova team to find a way and win games. That's something that they need to fix for the rest of the season, in my opinion.
Victor?
Ronnie said it, like, it was a really weird game, because like what really was really interesting from Verona was like their defense. But I cannot put my finger on it and say, was it the defense from Verona that was amazing? Was it the game plan that Stoichev devised? Maybe it's a combination of everything, or the touches that they managed to do in block, or was just Lube really struggling in attack? Because their attack was just horrific. Like, it has to do a lot with reception for sure, but I'm not surprised at all with reception. Who should receive in this team? Zaitsev, Nicola for Yant. Like, there's not one reception player in this team. They're all really good attackers. Like, there's not one that is amazing in reception. So that they need some balance in this position. And maybe Botolo, but okay, maybe Botolo is not an option for them. So Balasso is kind of struggling with left and right. As Nicola also said, like, this is Nikolov just needs some time, especially in float. Like, he tries to receive this ball perfect, and it's just an overpass again and again and again. It's not, I don't think he's a bad receiver, but he just needs time to connect with how exactly should I work this ball, and when should I press it to the net, maybe when should I leave it 1 meter away. And yeah, like, Verona are just this flow team, like, when it starts working, it starts to get like really a lot of wonders, a lot of chakra stuff happening for them. It's kind of fun to watch. Especially, I was having an argument with my father. We were watching the game, and I'm like, why did he bring Keita? And then Keita starts like with 5 or 6 direct errors, and like he smashes his head in the block. And I was like, get this guy out of there. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's like 5, 6 mistakes in a row in Stoichev. But okay, apparently he knows what he does and what he's doing, Stoichev. So he leaves him to play, because I think he was sensing this will change. Like, Keita will give energy and points and quality to this team, because Amin was doing like really serious like mistakes in very easy situations. Like, single block situations. He was getting blocked or spiking in out, and really, really funny stuff from him. I really like Amin, but sometimes he's just also like having a weird day. But Verona, I think, again, really good job from Stoichev for his selection. Like, you have 10 guys that you can bring in. This is amazing. Like, you have 2 really good setters, 4 really good blockers with Mosca, Cortesia, Gruzdanov, and Zingel. And with Keita and Amin, you have also 3 really good outside hitters with Sani. Where did this guy come from? Francesco Sani and Mojic and Javoronok. This is, for me, a really interesting team, because I, like, when I'm playing fantasy volleyball, I almost never get a player from Verona. Why? Because it's like a coin toss. It's a coin flip. You don't know who's going to start. It's like, how are they performing in 6 against 6 in practice maybe this week, and I don't know, who has like the better week gets to play, which is fine. But like, they are so balanced. They have so many players that they can rely on. And you see, if one guy is not working, well, okay, we bring another guy. Even Mojic didn't finish the match, and they won against Lube without him. This is, for me, a really interesting sign how you can really be successful with not the top players, like not 6 top players, but 10 really good players. And yeah, I think it was also a really bad game from, as Nicola said, from Lagumgia. He just didn't perform well in this game. But if you're hitting high ball like 80% of the time, maybe it's difficult.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe it's really difficult. But yeah, like they had their not their best game. First 2 sets, I thought, okay, I wasn't sure it was going to be 3-0 for Civitanova, even watching the first 2 sets, because with Verona, you just need some clicks sometimes, and it just starts working wonders. So yeah, I think it was a interesting game. I think Verona is like this joker. They can take any team anytime, and they can either lose sometimes 3-0 miserably, or they can make such a game and be. I think the team that has them in the Super Copa is not going to be really happy, because you don't even know when you start to do your analysis. You don't know. You have to prepare for 10 guys. You cannot prepare for 6 guys.
And they will beat Trento, that team.
Yeah, that will be Trento.
Yeah. And that's going to be really interesting.
And as absurd as that sounds, I'm not sure that Trento will win easily this game, even though they will play home, of course. That's the thing about Verona. They're another team with Keita, and even if he starts with several errors, when he's playing consistently more time and he's left on the court, he will start playing. It's a typical for our company here that we are not the biggest fans of Spirito here, and I would say that in the team of Verona, okay, Spirito improved in the last years, but the spikers make the setter and not the other way around.
Except if you're the Checo.
Yeah, probably. No. I mean, in this team, in the team of Verona, the spikers make the setter and not the other way around. Of course, there are teams where the opposite is valid, but not here. And I still believe that the weakest link in the chain of Verona is the setter. However, they're getting better, but they are not consistent, and this is the problem. In some teams, it's better to have a starting 6, 7, 8 players at the maximum. Here, you were very right, Victor, to say that actually they can start with both Jovic and Spirito, depending, of course, on the number of Italian players. They can use Zingio.
Yes.
By the way, I think Zingio has an Italian sport nationality, right, or not? Because he's or not.
It could be from the last 7 years that they played like Soler, like they're allowed to be counted as Italian, maybe.
Let's see. I can tell you. quite quickly. So Zing, yeah,
Yes, because
Zing could
I
play as
was
Italian.
yes, I was almost sure because I would say that without him, it's very hard to have the when he's playing. If he was not an Italian, it would with Mojic and Keita or Amin. It of course D'Amico is the one that is sure. However, to choose from the middle blockers, to choose from the setters. It seems that Keita is not ready for a full match. Maybe this will change in the next. This will change for sure. I hope if he's healthy. Their next match is on Friday, I think. So it would be very interesting how Verona will perform in the next matches. When it comes to Civitanova, the problem of balance there is very hard. I would say that the team is not that good balanced. And what mean after when it comes to that, it's is the problem that Victor indicated about the outside hitters, because Zaitsev should play because he's an Italian, but they have Alexander Nikov, they have Marlon Jan Lagumgia should be in the team, and Chininies should play. So that means that Zaitsev should be in there. Botovo, that's a very difficult topic because I don't think Botovo is that class for the Italian league, even though they try to. Botovo is more a player like he was in Padova, right? In Padova, I think.
Yeah.
That
He's
is
still an European
level
champion,
of
huh?
Botovo, I think.
And the world champion.
Yes, also,
Okay, but yeah. I'd like to say that Nicola probably remembers, even though he's a fan of Inter, Valerio Fiori of Milan, who won 1,000 titles without even having to play a match. So it's not.
It's good for his CV.
It is not a factor. So in this regard, let's see. Okay, I would suggest to just to check the other results from yesterday, where Modena was beaten by Piacenza as at home at Palapanini 3-0. Very good, I would say, great match for Piacenza. Cisterna Monza 3-1. I would consider that a surprise. Padova Trento 0-3 and Taranto Catania 3-1. And the situation in Catania is very, very hard. Let's go to the ranking, and I would actually suggest to go through it. And firstly, Nicola, what makes Trentino that good?
That's a good question. I mean, I never expected them to be at the top of the table so clearly, especially if you consider that they won 10 games and lost one. The one they played in Modena, that was a really bad game. One of those games that happened during a season. So there's nothing you can do about that. They play bad, Modena played better. But especially, I didn't expect them to be so high after the first two matches of this season, because in the first two games, match day 1, match day 2, Trento played against Cisterna and Taranto, and they won just in the tiebreak. They had to pull out a big effort to scratch those points, and then they start. Let's say something like that. They recovered the two outside hitter because both Lavia and Micheletto have played for the entire season and the entire summer for Italy, so they were pretty tired. But especially, I didn't expect Rikliski to fit so quickly in the game of Soli, which is also a new coach, so it could have some difficulties at the beginning. Right now, they playing with confidence. Winning help winning. No, what they say. At least they said in Italy. I don't know if I translated good in English, but if you keep winning, you're building a winning mentality. So as far as they play in the Champions League like that, in the regular season like that, also we know that winning the regular season could be pointless. We remember very well what happened to Perugia last season. But at the moment, they probably the most consistent team in the Superlega. They somehow try to impose their game every time they play, and that's one kind of team that I think it will be difficult for Verona to play with, because you said it right, both of you. Verona has a lot of option to play, but it's a scheme, let's call it that could work against team that don't play their game nevertheless. I mean, Trento is doesn't matter who is playing; they still playing the way they're playing. So for as much as you try to mix the player on the other side, it's very difficult to find a way to stop them. And they're on the top, despite the middle blocking has lost something on the attack. On the attack fundamental, because we all know that Kozamernik is not Lizinak, so they're attacking less and less from the center if we compare it to the last 2 or 3 seasons. But still, they're pretty solid in blocking. They're serving pretty well. So it's difficult to find a way to keep Trento under pressure for an entire set, because somehow they find a solution to most of the difficulties they face so far. Will it last? We'll see. I mean, we all know that what matters is to be on top of form in March. So for the moment, we're taking all these points. We play in the Coppa Italia as the first seed, which is not so bad considering, let's call the other side of the bracket with Modena, Perugia, Piacenza, Milano on one side, and Verona, Lube, Monza on Trento's side. So for now, what's mattered most is that the team is not, how can I say, is not paying the change of coach as it could have been. And Rikliski is slowly recovering from the past 2 seasons that has not been so good. I mean, the guy has won 4 MVPs so far in the Superlega, which is the most in the entire league. No other player has won so much. So let's see.
Victor, what do you think? Because Trentino has only 1 defeat so far, and that was in Modena, in Palapanini.
Nicola said a lot with things which also surprised me, that everything happened so fast. Everything clicked so fast with the new coach, with Rychlitsky, with Kuzamernik. Another guy that's not getting younger, but still apparently also not getting older, is Podraščanin.
Yeah.
This guy is also performing, and this is ridiculous. Like, he rarely has like a game on like okay level. It's always high level. It's like always the things that he's doing is touching so many balls in block, helping the team in any way he can. So this guy is like bringing tons of experience with his skills, and amazing. I think also Kozamernik not being an attacking middle is kind of his advantage. So Sbertoli is pretty much is pressing every button at the right time. And like now I'm seeing Kuzamernik with his not attacking skills, like 7 from 7 yesterday. So he's on it 100%, and he's not being the number 1 weapon of Trentino, but still, like, having him also entertain the other middle blockers is still a great thing to have. Also surprises me that Micheletto and Lavia are holding ends. Like, these guys have been playing everything that could be played in the last 8 months, maybe more. And this is one of the teams that I think that is a big exception. They don't have a bench. Like, I think Wout de Heer is probably one of the only guys that can like come in and like play a solid game. The other guys are just, I don't think that they're on the level of the starting 7 from Trentino. But as it was already mentioned, like, it's just dominant. They have a really good system. I think their block defense system is just working very well. They're making so many transition points because they're touching so many balls or just blocking directly and having really good counter attack. Like really good counter. They're killing a lot of balls on counter attack, and it's just again everyone. And big surprise with Rechlitsky. Really big surprise. I didn't think he's gonna be that effective, that efficient with the other guys. I thought it was just they settled with Rechlitsky buying him as an opposite because I guess no one else was on the market like that was better. No, guy is proving me wrong. Like he's been really consistent with his game and solid performance from everyone. But I think maybe for me, real MVP behind the shadows, behind the curtain is really Sbertoli, because he's managing a lot of those guys and giving them balls on very important, difficult moments. And it's like when I'm always watching statistics after every game with this team, and almost never is someone shining. Like one person is almost never shining. Like this amazing, this guy had like 150 points and whatever. No, it's like a real team performance. Everybody is, and that is for me a clear sign that the setter knows what he's doing. So yeah, really, really. I think when we mentioned Trentino against Verona, maybe it's not going to be an easy game, but I think from the first 8 teams, when they play against each other, it's never an easy game. You don't go there and they're thinking, oh, okay, that's going to be 3-0, 1 hour with the shower. So I think it's not going to be easy, but I think Trentino are just in such a row. Also in Champions League, they're going in Rzeszów and playing at Resovia also 3-0, like nothing. And in Resovia, they're like big players playing there, So I think Trentino right now are riding the roller coaster of fun. so yeah, I think they are, for me right now, clear number 1 for Supercoppa.
Let's go to the
No, just one thing to confirm what Victor said. I mean, if you look at the stats, Lavia has attacked 263 attacks, Micheletto 276, Rikitsky 285. The way Sbertoli is managed the attacking trio is basically equal. So also the opposite team doesn't know exactly what's going to happen next. So I completely agree with him. Sbertoli is having a great first half of the season.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next team. I was thinking to start about Piacenza, saying that they are not consistent. However, the only 4 matches out of 11 they actually lost were against the other teams in top 5, that are Trentino, Perugia, Monza, and Lube. And only the match against Civitanova, against Lube, is lost at home. So they have one defeat at home, and the other matches they lost are against the other top 4 teams. So does it mean that they're actually consistent for a start?
Yeah.
May I start?
Yeah, go, Victor, please.
It's the same with Milano. The same like them. They have so many injuries, but actually a really good and solid team. Leal is still not playing. Romano just came back. I think he had 2 games now.
Yeah.
And 2 not amazing games. Like he's still recovering. I think he just needs some time to, even if I'm not the biggest Romano fan, not on my top 10 list of opposites in the world, still is a European world champion. Everything that could be won, he won with Italy. Not almost everything, but he's just a game changer if he's playing. And I think Gironi and Recine also, did their part amazing. Recine still doing his part really good for his size. Like, hooray for small attackers, but still not Leal. And like having to play with 2 injured starting players, to play with two bench players instead of your starting players, it's just not easy. It's just not easy. Even if you have Simon and Lucarelli and Brizard, it's just not that easy to to win consistently every game. But I think the stars are aligning. I don't know what's going to be the situation with Leal, but for now, Regina is doing a really solid job replacing him. And I think we don't even have to talk about Simon. This guy is just still killing it at this age, and ever since I'm watching volleyball 2008, this guy has been in the peak and the best attacking middle in the world, and it still is, and it's just heads down. One of the favorite people for me, favorite players to watch in the game, and yeah, also good bench. I think they have also three really solid middles with Ricci and with Alonso. Even they have like Portuguese starting setter Bruno Dias. Like I think this team is also having. We have to also think about practice. They're 6 against 6 is like Verona and like Milano. It's always head against head. They have really competitive practices, I think. And what are you doing when you're Trento? Well, starting 6 against 6, maybe it's not that fun. So I think Piacenza are also going to be a really big threat. I see them in the maybe in the final or semifinal, if because they have this tendency to underperform in the end of the season, sadly. But I think now they managed to collect really interesting, tough mental guys. I don't think Lucarelli, Simon, and Brizar, maybe even Romano, Scanferla, they're not gonna be happy to lose easily the next couple of games. So I think now at this moment, maybe after 2 games, when Romano is really in shape, I would love to see Piacenza against Perugia or against Trentino. I would love to see this game because I think that's going to be like when 10 years ago with Marshall and with the other with this peak of Piacenza with the golden generation they had. So I think this is, well, fingers crossed, this is coming back. Really looking forward to seeing them playing healthy and everybody back to their optimal level.
Nicola?
Yeah, I was just underlining 2 things. They've lost 4 games, but only against Trento. They didn't collect point because then they lost 3-2 to Perugia, Monza, and Lube. And in my opinion, this year so far is the best season for Riccardo Lucarelli in Superlega. As Victor mentioned, Leal is out, so they need a leader in attack. And Lucarelli is playing as leader so far. So also
Absolutely.
for Brizard, knowing that they could rely so much also on Lucarelli other than Simon is making the difference. Recine is consistent. Is not shining, let's say that, but he's also can turn a set around with his serving. So they're having a pretty good first half of the season. They struggling a little bit in Champions League because they lost the first game at home with Arkbank, but then they won the ensuing 3 games. But I think they will be there playing for the silverware when it matters, starting from the Coppa Italia when they're actually the defending champions.
And they're coming to Berlin, and I'm going to watch this game for sure.
Cool.
In Champions League.
Monza. Next is Monza. I actually said in the beginning that Monza will play in Sofia in the quarterfinal of the Challenge Cup against Levski. First match will be on the 9th of January. Second match will be on the 17th. Of course, Monza are the ultimate favorite, and it will be a very big surprise for me if Levski even wins a set. But what do you think about Monza? Because Monza is a little bit untraditional. They at least for now, I'm not sure about yesterday because I didn't watch the match. If Mujanovic is playing, but they were not playing with a traditional opposite. They were playing with Lopke or Arthur Schwarz. And Arthur Schwarz, we know he's playing either as a middle blocker or an opposite. Yeah, it's a strange situation, but they're very solid with Mar and Takahashi.
Yesterday they actually played with Svark as an opposite after some games with Lopke because Svark wasn't at the top of his condition. Yeah, Monza to me as probably one of the best, the most balanced attacking group of the Superlega with Mara, Takahashi, Svark, Lopke. They also didn't lose so many games. They lost without points against Perugia and Trento. Then they lost the derby with Milano. And yesterday game, I don't know actually what happened because this Cisterna team didn't look so scary coming into the last games. They lost 4 in a row before yesterday. So I don't know actually what could have happened. Looking at the stats. They didn't do so.
It's crazy, huh?
Yeah,
it's really crazy. Also,
but so I can't explain the yesterday game for Monza, but they're also building a team for the past years against around Achilles' idea of playing, and I don't know if they could last. Let's see like that because we have to consider, with all the respect to the other countries, that the first round of the European Cups for both Monza and Milano were just something more than practice matches. But now they're coming the quarterfinal, semi-final, and final. They will have to sacrifice something in the Superlega to be at the top in the European Cup. So for the moment, they are solid. A solid team. I don't think they're, let's call, the best team of the middle pack, as the ranking said. I'm talking about those teams from the 4th to the 7th place. There are 14 in 3 points. I still think Milano is better than them. But if they keep rolling, let's say like that, and finding victory after victory, even the ones maybe they have to fight a lot to get the point because for example they won 3-2 against Piacenza in a game where they have to come back a 2-1 deficit. They have to fight to win in Verona, so it's a team that is building a mentality, and it's probably be a very tough opponent in the near future, but I don't know whether they could carry it all season long.
On another note, they lost against Cisterna yesterday, and Cisterna won with percentage of 27% positive in 11 perfect reception.
Yeah.
And this is beyond me, and I'm coaching kids, and sometimes I'm saying, yeah, you cannot win with such a percentage, and just be laughing now. But you have to see, like, they have only 3 direct errors for 4 sets in reception. So this is actually really good. Maybe it's really shit reception, but you can still attack the ball in high ball. And I guess that was the case. I couldn't watch the game, sadly, but I like watching Monza play. I really like watching Monza play because Cacciopa is back in his really good prime years, because last year he couldn't start the season because of his knee injury. Then it was a really slow start. So now I think he's really on quite a good level and connecting with all of his attackers. We also already mentioned the topic of Schwartz. It's like loose cannon. It's like a bit like Herrera. Either you have like a really good game with this guy or you don't. And then you have to start looking for other guys that have to go and play opposite position. In this case, Lepke, I think also really, I really like this guy. Really technical player, really interesting to watch. I think they bought Takahashi and he will play. But we also have to mention Takahashi is not the same like he was with Padova.
Yeah.
I was talking with one of his teammates last year. They said, because I think he was just coming back from exams from Japan. He didn't start the season with Padova. He came to it. We were actually, to this point of the season, we were in Italy and we were watching with some coaches practice from Padova. And we were asking, where's Ron? And he's like today he's not practicing because he's still recovering from flight, from stuff. And a couple of weeks later, we were talking about it. They said, like, it's like a second libero in the backcourt. Amazing in defense, good reception. Yeah, solid guy, but he's not killing the ball. Like, also in games, he had to play. He's like a marketing figure for this team. Like, they buy him, he has to play. Of course, he will generate a lot of income only by just standing in the screen. But now it's not the case. Like, Ran is really performing quite well. Like, almost all of his games, he's playing really solid. And I was thinking this is an undersized outside hitter, which almost every team has a really good block on the right side of the net. And I was not really sure Ran can be, very effective. But after this summer with Japan, I think this gave him a lot of confidence, and he just got better and better. And I think he, for sure, as a small outside hitter, you have to receive good and be amazing in defense, have a strong serve. But his attack is really good. Like, he's blocking also effectively. Like, this guy is right now better than Moore. I think without him, Monza will be in a very, very difficult position. And they're lucky to have him, really. I think he's playing really solid. And, of course, Cachopa is a guy that really likes to set fast. Okay, Takahashi has to attack fast. So I think this is clicking quite well. And, yeah, in the middle, I think with Di Martino, almost like a same situation with Kozamernik, but a bit worse. And Galassi, big fan of Galassi. I think also very, very solid middle blocker. I think games that they lost, it's just except for yesterday, really, because yesterday we saw a lot of funny games. I think the other games that they lost, they just played still on a quite good level. And I think with what Nicola said, that they're maybe in the middle of the pack, but now Milan will surpass them. I think they will have a good chance in the playoffs coming in, maybe semifinals, but that would be it. I think their bench is not that wide for them to be really that effective in the late part of the season. Now it's fun to watch. I think if some team kind of underestimates them, like has not the best game against them, like a Piacenza or maybe Perugia, I think Monza can surprise. For sure, Monza can deliver a solid surprise, but not exactly my favorite pick for becoming Italian champions or something.
Well,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
When they
Go
played
on.
against Trento, Trento won 3-1. The sets that Trento won were 25-22, 25-23, 25-23.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Monza pulled up a hell of a fight. And in the beginning of the
For sure.
season, they were serving pretty well. If I don't remember wrong, Takahashi has something like 15 aces in the first 4 or 5 games. So they were pretty
Exactly.
And as you pointed out, Victor, last year Takahashi basically was the libero of Padova till the playoff for the 5th place. I think they started playing him as an outside hitter. So this is, let's say that this is basically his first season in Italy as a starting outside hitter, and is also think is doing pretty well.
When it comes
agree.
to Takahashi, it's interesting also the language barrier, because I understood from Asparuch, who also played in Padova last year, that actually Takahashi is not that good in English. I mean,
okay,
nor Italian.
Oh, I would presume that it's the same with Italian too. So he would have needed also some time to adjust to language, and now I would say that this is another point he improved, and that's also showing in Monza. Okay, let's go to the last team we are going to comment in detail, and that's Modena, because Modena are seventh, and actually they won more games as guests than as hosts. So uh, they have 4 wins when they were guests, and only uh, 3 when they were hosting matches in Pala Panini. They lost against Piacenza, Lube, and Monza in Pala Panini. Okay, very good teams. But still, Pala Panini is the castle of Modena, but not so much. What do you think?
Well, they're actually the only team that beat Trento so far. So
Yeah.
Right.
that was pretty surprising. But as I told you before, there was that kind of games that I don't know. I mean, Trento was leading the first set, then was comfortably leading the second set. They ended up losing 27-25, and then Modena gained momentum and get the entire 3 points. I think that the game where the attacking trio of Modena is really clicking, and I'm talking about Shaposhkov, Daviskiva, and Rinaldi, because Osmani, for as much as love him for what has done both in Trento, Lube, and then the national team, is feeling his age more than Matej is doing. But when the attacking trio is playing at the, let's see, not so wonderful level, but at least at a consistent level for the entire game, that's the game where Modena is very, very dangerous, because despite Stankovic is not playing so much this year, they still have some good block with Breme and Sanguinetti. But the difference will always be, in my opinion, for Modena, how the attacking trio is feeling, because they could be dangerous, but there also could be games where they combined didn't score more than 15 points, and you cannot win games like that. I'm talking about yesterday's game, for example, against Piacenza. I didn't expect Modena to go too deep in the playoff run or either in the Coppa Italia, but the thing that I could say them is, let's call it that, the pride of their champions, because Bruno is also aging and is not consistent as it was in the past probably 4 or 5 seasons. But if they click, they, at least for one game, on the head-to-head, let's go like that, they're dangerous. On a series, I don't see them beating one of the top team on a best of 3 or best of 5 games.
Huh. As much as I love Modena, I really agree with Nicola. It's like I was also in Pala Panini. It's amazing magic what happens there, and it's just they rely so much on Juan Turena and Bruno, and just not. They're still amazing players, but if you compare them to the players in Trentino, Perugia, Piacenza, and some of the other teams, it's not their prime anymore, and it saddens me. It hurts to say, but it's just the truth. Saposhkov, I think he was injured in the beginning of the season, so they played with this attacking trio with Davis Kiba in opposite, and he was actually really killing it. Like, he was playing quite well in this position. I don't know what happened with Davis Kiba, because now he's playing quite bad. Like, he's really not performing well. He's not delivering. They have a good bench as well. They can, allow themselves to experiment a bit, especially in this part of the season. But it's not like they're they have like this consistent level, and you know what to expect from them. Like yesterday, I was expecting at least a set,
Yeah,
against Piacenza. At least one set. I was expecting, oh, this is going to be a good game. Maybe I can watch it. And like seeing that the first set is going like this and second set is going even worse, I was thinking, okay, maybe I'm not going to watch this game because, you know. But
Same here,
yeah,
by the way.
yeah. I think their middles, it's a perfect match. Like Stankovic, the older guy, giving them like really experience, and Sanguinetti and Bremer are the young ones. Bremer for the first time in Italy. I'm really have to say Sanguinetti. We saw him. He's like 2-3 years. I've been kind of watching him grow, and now is his best season. Like now he's playing really good, and I think it's going to get only better with this guy. I think he has a bright future, but Bremen still needs to click. Like coming from the German league and playing one important game in 2 months against playing every game, it's really important. Even
yeah.
against Catania, they played tiebreak, and like you cannot have like this calm sense like it's going to be really fine game and easy. And no, even if you go to Catania, they can also whoop your ass if you're not careful. So I think also Rinaldi needs some time. I think it's also a guy that has a lot of potential, and maybe it's going to be also a top star, but not yet. And I started with Sapochkov because I like this really giant guy, but he played in Verona like I don't know, having 2-3 amazing games, and then not really, and then again, and then maybe middle, and it's still like a magical guy that maybe it works and maybe it doesn't. um so I think he has also potential, but we're talking only about potential and not about deliverance, not about performance. We're talking about what if and what can happen if everything clicks. But it clicked once, pretty much, like against Trentino. I think this is also a very, very big phenom about this team. They love those games. They love those high-end games that they play against the best teams in Italy, and suddenly, sometimes they win. Because they prepare really well. I think their staff is also really, really good. Um, but as I said, I have to agree the season might not be the best season for them, although we said the same for Civitanova. And Civitanova last year had a similar situation, and no one was actually thinking they can make it that far. And surprise, they played final.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Many thanks to Milano that kicked Perugia out the playoffs, because
That's true.
otherwise
That's
I think that Lube would have done to the final, in my opinion.
That is true. That is very true. But still, like, difficult with Modena.
Okay, lastly about the league, do you believe that anyone but Catania can go down?
No, because the closest team to Catania is Taranto, and despite not having winning a single game until yesterday, when they actually beat Catania, they had 6 points because they played 6 tiebreak and lost all of them. So Taranto is a team that is more used than Catania to the Superlega. We all know that Catania has been built in 3 weeks, gathering players that are available on the market, and for me it's already a great achievement for them, the fact that they could play in the Superlega. But I don't think that Padova, Cisterna, or Taranto could finish lower than Catania.
Yeah, if you allow me this joke, Catania will win the title and Catania will relegate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Damiano Catania is the libero of Milano, so that was what I mean.
Right. I got that one.
Yeah, but
Okay.
still,
but I still don't believe it.
How great it will be for Catania to play for Catania, but I don't think this is
It's
possible.
written in the stars. It's written in the stars.
Yeah.
I also don't believe that another team would be for relegation. I think Taranto is. He said he's like, it's a matter of time they start winning games. I think when you lose 6 tiebreaks or 7th, you have to win. Maybe. Cisterna also, I think this is a really good team actually, but their outside hitters are really not delivering at all. All 3 of them really bad, especially in reception. Like right now, Pavle Peric, Efe Bayram, these guys are not playing one single good game. And it's so difficult to win like this. Like if you cannot play with, and even now, Baranovic straight from Heber playing for Cisterna, also really interesting to see that he just comes in and starts playing. And he connects with the team. But when reception is with this percentage, as we saw, okay, they won against Monza, heads down. But, how the hell? This still, I think if they start playing a bit better, especially their outside hitters, I think they might be coming in maybe one spot in 8th place. Maybe. I'm just saying that they could challenge one team for the 8th place because there is a lot of games still left for the season.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on it. I believe that the 8 teams we have now will have also at the end of the season for the playoffs.
Probably.
The problem with Verona and Milano are now over, I believe. So they will become better. They will become better, and I think that the battle for the title will be great, but also the battle for the semifinals. I mean that. What I mean is the quarterfinals will be very good, but let's see. We'll have a lot of time. We'll pass before that. Okay, let's go to the Coppa Italia because we have now the pairs, and this is the last thing. The thing with which we can finish actually. Trento Verona, Perugia Modena, Monza Civitanova, and Piacenza Milano. The most stupid thing in the Italian volleyball organization is that all the quarterfinals will be played in the same hour. So that means that we can see.
Actually, Perugia will play on the 4th. They wisely decided to move one game.
One game, okay.
There it is, at least one game. Now we can watch 2.
Yeah,
so we can watch 2. Okay. Firstly, let's rephrase the question. And which game will you watch in this regard?
Well, of course, I will watch Trento Verona, and then the game on the 4th.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah, for sure. The game on the 4th. I would probably go with. I think Piacenza and Milano is going to be really interesting, but the surprise of this round, I think, might be either. I would bet on Monza. That could be a big surprise that they beat Lube. Or if we consider it a surprise, I don't know. Maybe it's now it's different margins. But yeah, I think that would be also an interesting game to watch.
Nicola, where will be the final 4?
Bologna, I think, as usual. Casalecchio di Reno is one of. Yeah, I think it's there.
Nice.
Basically,
we said it on
Okay,
years.
Let's have our predictions. Nicola first.
I would like to see Trento winning Coppa Italia after, I think, 10 years. But I think that the Coppa Italia will be won by the team.
No. Okay, just for now for the quarters. I mean,
for the finals.
Yeah.
I think that the home teams will win all 4 games. So Trento, Monza, Perugia, and Piacenza. I don't see any of these team. Maybe the only one on the verge is Monza Civitanova, but the other 3, Trento will beat Verona, Perugia will beat Modena, and Piacenza will beat Milano.
That's interesting, Victor.
Yeah, I think the same. Maybe Modena could surprise Perugia, but I also don't believe it because now Perugia are slowly starting to get really good. So I don't think Modena will have so much time in the next week to suddenly start playing 15-20% better that they can beat Perugia. But in that case, I really hope I'm wrong somehow. I think yeah, that would be interesting to see if Modena get one set, then I will be really watching intensely.
For me, Trento and Perugia for sure. And then I would say that my intuition says that one of the other two games will be won by the guests. But
Yeah, Milano could also be surprised, right?
I would say Civitanova. I don't know why exactly. Probably because their last match was not that good. So in this regard, it's more possible for them to perform in the next match better.
Monza either
Uh,
was good last one.
Monza was not good either, the last one. But I don't know. I don't know. Let's predict that Lube will beat
Okay.
Monza, and about Piacenza Milano is very hard. It's very hard, but let's say that Piacenza will win, but they will win not easily. So 3-1, 3-2, but not 3-0.
And
Yeah.
if Lube will lose to Monza, it will be 3 years in a row that Lube will not qualify for the final four. Something that has never happened in the past 20-25 years.
Okay, one
That's a
more
fun
reason
fact.
for me to be right.
Yeah. I think the upper two games, Trento Verona and Perugia Modena, will be 3-0. I think the bottom two with Vero Volley and with Lube and Piacenza Milano, those are going to be not going to be 3-set games.
So we'll watch Trento Verona, and then we'll switch to the other game to see how they finish. Yeah.
Probably that would be the best case scenario.
This could work. Okay, guys, something to add up to what we said until now.
No, I don't think so. We're cool.
We're extensive, as I like saying, actually. Okay, guys, so we can wrap up. We have Trento as the half season champions. How is that in Italian, Nicola?
Campione d'inverno. Winter
D'inverno.
champion.
D'inverno andata. All right, andata, the first
Yeah.
andata and ritorno. Okay. We will have the Cup of Italy starting on the 3rd and the 4th, the quarterfinals. The final four will be played in Bologna, very nice city to visit. Even though the tower there is just about to fall, and they are very concerned about that in Bologna, I think. So
Hopefully, it doesn't steal the spot.
Yeah. So I believe that we can finish with that. It is almost 1 hour and 15 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that also the viewers enjoyed that. And see you soon again after some time. I hope it will be not that long as this time, because we were a little bit too lazy about doing podcasts about the Italian league. So I think that Ronnie will also return. Yeah, I think that's it. And we can wrap it up and see you the next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.